Ever wonder how early engine computers, which are basically the brain of your car, managed to do all the high-stakes math of speed density while using processors slower than your grandma's flip phone? Well, let's talk about it. See, a lot of ECMs, especially older ones, had to juggle a lot of jobs with painfully slow hardware. Not only did they need to do all the speed density math to figure out airflow, they also had to handle super time-sensitive stuff like spark timing and reading crank and cam signals and firing injectors at just the right time. And here's the kicker. Most of those processors didn't even have floating point units. Translation? They were really bad at fractions and decimals. Like basic calculator from 1984 bad. So what did engineers do? Well, they got clever. Instead of asking the chip to do complex math 1,000 times per second, they reworked the math itself. They simplified speed density so these low-power microcontrollers could actually run an engine. Let's take a look at how GM and Honda tackled this challenge. In a perfect world, you'd use the ideal gas law. And then we would calculate injector pulse width. But GM said, let's not make the chip do all of that every cycle. So they came up with the idea of base pulse width, or BPW. This is the pulse width, or how long the injectors stay open, based on incoming air and how much fuel is needed to hit the desired air-fuel ratio. Think of it as a baseline fueling value baked in ahead of time. Then they just multiply that BPW by values from the VE table. So now that VE table, it's not really a true volumetric efficiency table anymore. It's more like a scaling factor for fueling. And then few correction tables and some temp readings like coolant temp and intake air temp, and boom, you've chopped the math workload basically in half. And that's speed density simplified, enough to run on your grandma's flip phone. Now what about Honda and the rec fuel? Honda took a totally different route. Same ideal gas math, N equals PV over RT, then injector pulse where we're solving for N over injector flow. But instead of solving that math on the fly, Honda just pre-baked the answer into a big lookup table. So when the ECU knows RPM and MAP, it uses those to index a table that gives it the base fueling value it wants. It's pretty much the final injector pulse width. That value, called rec fuel, is then tweaked a little bit more by using a couple small correction tables for engine intake and temp. So instead of a half a dozen equations, Honda boiled it down to one table lookup, a couple of quick adjustments, and done. Fast, efficient, and easy for a slow chip to handle. So whether it's the GM and their BPW trick, or Honda with their cheat sheet of rec fuel, both found clever ways to make speed density work on some seriously underpowered hardware. It wasn't the ideal system, but it was clever, and it got the job done. And sometimes being clever with math is all you need to go fast.